What's going on, guys? Eric from TheWiscoGuyz here. Today we're going to be changing oil on a 2009 Buick Lucerne 3.9L with the 3900 engine. So this is my girlfriend's car. She bought it July of last year, I think. July or June. No, it must have been June. Yeah, June of last year in 2020. Came up for a really good deal, and she doesn't really like it. She likes SUVs, but it's a good car for the money that it was. So yeah, we're gonna just jump right into it, and we're gonna show you how to do an oil change on it. So first, we're gonna pop the hood. You just reach down on the side here, pop that, get the latch open. There should be a lever right about here to the left of the Buick symbol. Flip it to the right, and then there's the 3900 V6 from GM. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the oil level before we even start to see if we have any oil either burning or leaking or whatever. I know there's a few leaks on this car, but it's not, like seeps, not really, not leaks, but we'll just check it here real quick. So the yellow dipstick handle here, pull that out. What I like to do is just clear it. Since it's been run, clear it, get the oil off, stick it back in there, and then pull it back out, and then you want to check your level. So as we can see here, we're just at the bottom of the hash marks, so maybe lost a little bit of oil, maybe burnt it, I don't know. If so, it's not that bad. I mean, I haven't added oil to this vehicle in the last 3,500 miles, I think. So I say that's pretty good. Usually with GM, if it ain't leaking, it ain't running. That's how I see a GM, but they're definitely good cars yet. So the next thing I like to do is I like to pull the oil cap off, which this is kind of a two-piece deal here, and it separates. You got the top here, and then the lower part of the oil cap. I'm gonna put this back in because I really don't want to spill, so I'm gonna tighten that back in. So now, as you see, I put that back in. The oil viscosity is right on the cap here. 5W30 is what this engine takes, the 3900 V6. What I also like to do is I like to put the oil cap right in the latch there. I do that because say you're done with the oil change, you get everything filled back up, you go to shut the hood and it doesn't shut. So you open it back up, oh, I forgot the oil cap. That's just a thing I learned from changing oil for the last, I changed oil for almost 5 years. So next step, I'm gonna get the lift. You don't have to use a lift to do this. I have used ramps in a previous video for my Ford Ranger, but I'm gonna use a lift today because there's not really, I don't think that we have any ramps here yet today. So I'm gonna use the lift, but you can get it set up on ramps underneath the front tires and have room to go underneath and change the oil. So I'm gonna get this set up and then I'll be back with you here shortly. Alrighty, so I have the lift set up. We're gonna lift it up a little bit. And then once it's off the ground, I usually like to do a little shake test. And that feels pretty solid. And that feels pretty solid. Alrighty, so we got the car in the air, and as you see here, you have the front of the engine subframe, the oil pan, and the transmission pan right here. What you're looking for is the oil drain plug, which is right here, and I believe it's a 15mm. I grabbed the wrong socket. Hold on. So that is 15mm. I got the correct socket now. Before we do that, we're gonna check out where the oil filter is, and it's right there, right here. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on. Yep, oil filter is right here, right in front of the oil pan, towards the front of the vehicle. I usually like to try to loosen the oil filter before I drain the oil. So usually I can do it by hand. So if I get it a little loose, and then it comes a little loose, I just leave it. I don't loosen it anymore. As long as I can get it a little bit loose to where my hand can turn that and get it a little bit loose, then I go back to the oil drain plug. So now that I've done that, we're gonna take a look here, get you guys positioned. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna crack the drain plug. So, get my oil drain pan here, or drain bucket, I should say. We're gonna get this off of there. Let's see if I can do it without getting my hand covered. And you can use a oil drain pan when you're on ramps. You can use an oil drain pan. I'm just using the lift because it's easier to show you guys. But you pull that out and then set the drain plug off to the side. Don't lose the drain plug. Now you just let that drain out until it starts dripping, drip, 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 and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so as you can see, it's just doing a little drip there. So we're ready to get the oil plug back in it. So we get that back in. We get the drain bucket out of the way here. The foot-pounds or pound-feet of torque you're supposed to put on this thing is 18. I don't have a torque wrench that goes that low, so I'm just gonna hand tighten it, and you kind of just feel it, and then I'm good with that. So, but it is 18 foot-pounds of torque on there, so not very much. Don't over tighten it, because you'll have a bad time next time you go to try to change your oil. So just needs to be tightened just a little bit, 18 foot-pounds, and you're good. Now we have the oil filter. Remember, we loosened this by hand, so it should be loose. You just give it a spin, you'll see oil drip flow out of there. I let it just flow out until it, it stops and just goes to a drip. So now that it's kind of minimal, I'm gonna grab it. You're gonna get oil on your hands. That's why I'm wearing a glove right now, is because I'm gonna get oil in my hand, as you can see. And I just pour that. And I just usually leave the filter right in the drain pan or bucket. I'm gonna get rid of this glove here. So I'm using for an oil filter for this vehicle is, or Magneti Marelli offered by Mopar is what I'm using, 005. So this is made for the Chevrolet GM 3900 series V6. So that's what I'm using because we have it. I work at a Chrysler dealership, so that's what we have. So now that we have the oil filter off, what I like to do is I like to take the old one, make sure the gasket is still on that oil filter. But what I like to do is I like to, what you call, kiss the filters. So you take that, you kiss the filters. Not only does that ensure that your old seal is on the old filter and not up top where it mounts, but yet you lubricate the seal on the new one. So now that we have done that, we can install our new filter. And I just like to do it as tight as I can get it with my less dominant hand. I know there's a torque spec for it, but I don't know it off the bat. So I just like to tighten it as much as I can with my left hand because I'm right hand dominant. So the next time I take it off, I can take it off with my right hand relatively easy. So that's good. Okay, so now you want to clean up your mess. Get all the oil wiped up. I got a little bit of a seep going on here, but we're not going to worry about that. Usually what happens. So when the car gets up there in age and miles, this car only has 75,000 miles, so it's not that far up there in age. But it runs really good, drives really good, feels good, it handles like a dream. So all right, that's it there. So what I like to do is I like to go underneath the vehicle again after everything is cleaned up and everything, and just check your filter for tightness. Yep, and then just check your plug, make sure it's not loose. I know you tighten it, but a lot of times you'll forget to tighten the plug. Once you go back and double check it with your finger and it's tight, you're good to go. So we're gonna get this lowered down. Alrighty, so now that we have the vehicle on the ground, we're ready to fill it with oil. So like I said before, we're using 5W30. I work at a dealership, so they have bulk oil ready to go. This is 5W30 semi-synthetic blend, so it's a synthetic blend. So we're using 4 quarts is what this vehicle takes with an oil filter change. So we're just gonna pour that in there. So now that we got that in there, put the oil cap back on. Clean that up a little bit more. So now that that's back on, we're gonna start the engine. Let it run for a bit. I usually like to check for leaks at this point. Just check underneath for leaks. It looks good to me, so we're gonna shut it off. Alrighty, now that we have started the engine, got the oil flowing through, I've waited a little bit, about a minute, and I'm gonna check the oil dipstick, see where we're at for oil level. Like I said before, we put 4 quarts in, so that's what it calls for factory spec. Like I said before, you want to wipe your dipstick and then put it back in so you can get a proper level check. Alrighty, you guys can see that we're right in the hash marks, at the top of the hash marks, so we're good to go there. Alrighty, so now that we've checked the oil level, everything's good there. I'm going to show you how to reset the oil life indicator. So I'm going to start the vehicle up, and we're going to go over to the buttons here. So you're going to want to press the info button. See, it says change oil soon. Now that we've changed oil, we're going to want to reset that. So there it is right there, and we're going to hold the check mark right here. Hold the check mark. It should reset. There we go. Reset the oil life there. And that's about it. So alrighty guys, that's pretty much it for the oil change on the Buick. You know, just make sure everything's tightened up. Make sure your oil fill cap is on there, and pretty much set to go. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them the best I can. Thanks guys, have a good day or night or whenever you're watching.